Garrett Lee is Regional Vice President for Public Sector Sales at Broadcom. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
You bet.
A lot of talk about AI as a force multiplier in the cyber realm. What are the pluses and minuses, pros and cons of what AI is doing from a force multiplier perspective in your view?
Certainly offers a lot. AI offers a lot to enhance what any given security practitioner is doing. And it's necessary because the enemy has it too. So it is a cat and mouse game escalated. This is an escalation of the cyber war. AI can turn defenders into super defenders, and what I mean by that is picture a SOC analyst. They work through their day going down data and telemetry that comes in from their networks, from their endpoints, from their data environment, and they have to make sense of it. They have to determine, does this traffic represent malicious activity, or does this traffic represent benign activity, or maybe somewhere in between? Interpret that, interrupt a threat in progress, and then the fun part of summarizing and documenting what's just occurred. Now, these investigations aren't done in a minute or two. These can stretch weeks even. These campaigns that the SOC analysts have to conduct. When they go through that, there is a tremendous opportunity to add speed and decision advantage by using AI. Bringing together cross-domain collaboration from what you see in the data environment and from the endpoint, and correlating data sets like this to be able to identify, interrupt, to be able to then ultimately summarize what's occurred, interpreting how do we adapt our security measures going forward in light of what we've just seen. That can help analysts cover a lot more ground, having that level of data availability, interpretation, summarization, the after report. I mean, think the police reports that in action films at the end when they have to do the unfun part of documenting all of the action. The same thing happens for security analysts, and putting all that together in a meaningful way so that the organization can learn from what they've seen. AI offers tremendous advantages. It also offers risk. So risk that the AI itself is an attack surface that's been introduced. There's a risk on the data of training these models on sensitive information that could be leaked back out to users who shouldn't be able to access that information. Mm-hmm. So data governance becomes important. But AI, and I mentioned this I think last time we chatted, it certainly holds true that AI doesn't create necessarily new risk, it amplifies existing risk. And that is absolutely the case here too.
If that's the case, is AI sufficiently then enough of a force multiplier for defenders that it gives them a little bit more of an edge than they've had in the past at dealing with the offensive cyber capabilities that the bad guys have? Closing that loop, sure. Closing that delta, I guess.
It's necessary. It's going to be more and more necessary. And as more data is produced by our environments, that's more data to go through. AI is very good at that. We can also automate tasks that are repetitive. We can filter through and string together correlations of information to get predictive about what we're seeing. What we see in the network and what we see in the endpoint, and what we see in the data, bringing all of that context together cross-domain so that analysts can make good decisions about what they're seeing, and in some cases rely on AI to make decisions, is how we'll stay ahead of advanced adversaries.
So you used the term at the beginning of this conversation, the enemy has it too.
Yes.
What's the implication of that for the risk vector that you talked about a second ago?
Yeah, the risk is it was once the domain of high-value targets to be targeted by advanced adversaries. That has definitely been brought down market. Small, mid-sized businesses, smaller agencies are now as much at risk as the original high-value targets. And so the democratization of malware, you don't have to be a tremendously skilled coder to come up with unique malware nowadays. There's agentic AI that can do that for you. Down to writing phishing campaigns that used to be very easy to spot are getting much more difficult to spot. And in general, the adversary is leveling up by using AI for speed in their campaigns as well. So that needs to be brought to the table in defense as well.
What are the platform implications for this too? I've seen people now on LinkedIn that are starting to get hit up by text, phishing type attacks, all kinds of things like that.
Well, probing for soft targets and credentialed access is always easier than writing unique code to go exploit and get in the hard way. That will not change. And in fact, it'll just be harder for those soft targets to differentiate. much the way the lines are blurring between what's real, genuine content in the world and what's AI. We're all going to struggle with that. And so making sure that you have governance over your data, you understand that we need to secure AI as fast as we are adopting it, which is not the case today. The pace of adoption of AI is so explosive that the pace of ensuring you have the right data governance in place to protect the sovereignty of the data that you're going to train these models with, the ingredients in software from an SBOM perspective, what is the use of AI? As a vendor, we hear this question quite often. We have to ensure that our customers understand how we're using AI, how we're ensuring the trustworthiness and fidelity of those models is important, and that's everywhere. That needs to be taken into consideration by
We have a
every
little
customer.
less than a minute left, but you touched on something that I ask every CISO that I talk to in the federal government, which is how are you using AI to secure your enterprise, and how are you securing the AI tools that you're using in that enterprise? They're two different questions, but they're connected, I guess.
Yes, I mean, not to say that the answer is always zero trust, but in this respect, that's absolutely true. You want to make sure that you are limiting the opportunity for an attacker to poison the data or access the data. It does come back to the data and the models. Those models, when you're operating them, need to be carefully controlled in terms of their access and the trustworthiness of the AI itself. Given what this AI has access to, and given how it's been operated, can I trust it? Much the same way you govern zero trust access to any other system, you have to do likewise with the AI.